Movie footage used on the podcast is for fair use. Nightmare Talkers makes no claims or ownership and only uses the footage for commentary and entertainment purposes. Please support the film and the art of filmmaking by watching Friday the 13th Part 7 New Blood on home media or wherever you can watch the movie. Enjoy the episode.
Yay!
Ready. What is up, my gamers or scarers
Going.
or haunters or whatever? It is your host, Smiley. Everyone wave. And then we got I don't care. And then we got the co-host down below.
That's Nova! Everybody's
It is
favorite.
it is Nova. And then we got a guest on here. As a guest, it's a friend of Smiley's. Name is Skinner. Skinner, say hi to the lovely people.
How's it going, everybody?
Whoa!
Skinner is the person that got me into working at haunts and things like that. And so there you go. So I have some pictures up from like my haunting days. Anyways, so Skinner, what we do with people who are just joining for the first time on here, we ask them what is their favorite horror movie? What got them into like what's their favorite now? What was their favorite when they were growing up? And then what got them into horror in the first place? So the floor is now yours.
Ooh, those are some very, very good questions, Smiley. Okay. My first taste into the bloodbath that is the horror genre would be Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors. I saw that.
Amazing choice.
My first taste, and that was it. I had to watch everything. So I watched all. Now, I would have to say it would be Halloween Kills. It's just,
Really?
yeah, it's just brutal. I mean, never mind the criticism that came from that movie. Just James G. Courtney just doing his thing, hacking and slashing, just ruling all kinds of things. It was a great movie.
All right. Comparatively to the last movie of that franchise, yeah, Halloween Kills is like a 10 out
Oh, absolutely.
of 10.
I mean, it was. I was a little shook about see how things were going to work out with that movie, but it worked out pretty well. I mean, come on, 12 fighters in what 2 seconds?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he did do that.
that was pretty good. And what got me into wanting to do this or this Halloween in general is
Let's talk about both because you are a haunter. This is the first time, besides myself, we have had an actual scare actor haunter on the podcast. What got you into horror movies, and what got you into being a scare actor?
okay. What got me into watching horror movies was just I wasn't one of the ones that watched a whole lot of cartoons. I mean, I watched my Nickelodeon and all my stuff growing up, but it was just a part of the norm. And I'm not normal. I was into bands like Slipknot and Cannibal Corpse and all of them growing up and being a teenager. So being Halloween was always a thing for me. Even like being a Ninja Turtle and a Power Ranger when I was yay high to going into this now, but it's just something about scary just makes you feel alive. Something like this, the fear in somebody's eyes by looking at what you're wearing, it brings me a certain type of joy.
Yeah,
And as far as what got me into scare acting, ironically, I wanted to do it for the longest time at my local haunt, and I never wore the right outfit. They were looking for characters that they could make bigger. They didn't want somebody like Freddy or Myers or Jason. I
they
was
wanted
always
their own personal character.
exactly, yeah, your own personal thing, and I didn't know that, so I was always going to these auditions dressed up as Freddy Krueger. Silicone mask, real glove, the laugh, the voice, everything, and didn't really work out too well until I got a chance to actually talk to the owners and talk to the managers, and they said, "We want you to be your own character." Cool. Started out as a serial killer slash maniac. And I walked around in all black, a skin mask, and the blade. And what got me the name Skinner was a customer come up to me, had a very bad night, had a bad headache. He said, "You look like you could skin somebody alive." And I said, I actually probably could. So Skin and Skinner just kind of matched. And then I became the clown all because the owners of my haunt were like, "You look good as a clown." I'm like, "Okay, let's give it a shot." And now it's been my best costume, my best character that I've had ever since. I market him everywhere all year round. Anywhere I can. People in Germany, Japan, Turkey, Istanbul, they all know who I am. Thank you to the wonderful one on TikTok for that. So, but yeah, and the rest is history.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. So yeah, and so that's how I met Skinner. I was just scrolling on TikTok and I saw him and I'm like, oh, this guy seems pretty cool.
Fun stuff.
So, and then we'll also have Skinner's TikTok link in the description below so that people can go show him some love. Don't you have a YouTube channel as well, or is it just TikTok? And
It
that's
is
it.
not, I'm trying to branch out into other things. I tried Twitch and that didn't work out too well for me. So
One of my
TikTok,
one of my suggestions you should totally do is take some clips from like your haunting days, like have someone follow you as you're doing stuff, haunting stuff, and just upload those as longer form content on YouTube.
that's what I need to do. I think I might actually do that this year. If I can find somebody to follow me around with a GoPro or attach a GoPro to myself and kind of get like a POV shot, I would so do that.
Yeah, and so, anyways, so that's really cool. So now we're gonna segue into what the movie we're talking about, and that is Friday the 13th, Part 7. Because today, not the day of recording, but that's a whole nother thing. But today, when the episode comes out, is Friday the 13th. And so, kind of
Whoa.
going going through, I was like, oh, we'll talk about this movie or this movie, and then I was like, wait, it's Friday the 13th. Might as well just milk the cow while we got it, right? So, yeah. So, I think Nova, that was your first time watching Part 7 as well, because last time we talked about Friday the 13th, it was their first time watching the very first movie in
Yeah.
general, and so they'd never seen any of them. And the Part 7 is the reason one it's my favorite. It's Kane Hodder's first time as Jason. And Kane Hodder brought a different personality to Jason because everyone was kind of like big, luggish, slow, kind of a little bit dumb. And Kane Hodder brought pure rage behind the character. Like everything that he did, like one of my favorite scenes is like when the girl is shutting all the doors and like throwing the table in front of the door, he grabs the table and like throws it halfway across the room and rips open the doors and things like that. Like he doesn't do anything without some form of malice behind the character. And
Aggressive
obviously
with it.
Kane Hodder's the most iconic Jason out of everybody, you know. Like when people hear Jason Voorhees, they think if they're fans of the horror genre, they think Kane Hodder. So
Just like, Freddie, Robert England, so on and so forth.
yeah, and so which I still wish they should put Kane Hodder and Freddy versus Jason because that's what he wanted. And he just recently came out and said that he will put the mask on one more time. He'll be Jason one more time for people, like a major movie. What was that? You kind of cutting in and out there.
I said I would love to see Kane Hunter do it one more time.
And Robert Englund said he's going to do Freddy one more time.
Yeah, really though? I mean, up in that
Yes,
his,
he
ooh,
came out and said that he's willing to put the glove on one more time because he just wasn't a fan of the remake. And so he's like, you know what? He said we'll either do like a sequel to Wes Craven's New Nightmare or we'll just do a sequel of Freddy's Dead.
which are both good. I like Freddy's Dead. Freddy's Dead was good.
So, but anyways, so as the twos of yous, Nova, being that this was your first time, you'll go first. What did you think of Friday the 13th, Part 7?
I'll be 100% honest. I was kind of making fun of it the entire time.
Was it really goofy or what?
Yeah, it was just like I don't know. It didn't really feel like, other than the design for Jason and then the guy playing Jason, there wasn't really anything special to the movie, in my opinion. Like, it was just another slasher horror movie, and it's from the 80s. Like,
It's Jason versus Carrie, which if you know
yeah.
Carrie the movie, it's telepathic. So, oh, it is burning up in my house, and I'm wearing a hoodie and a Jason mask and a pair of gloves. And my best friend is leaving right there. Wave at the camera. Is that beautiful? Beautiful.
Hi! Hello, best friend!
Nova said, "Go f yourself."
That's not what I said.
Huh?
That's not what I said.
He said not long enough.
Oh.
Anyways, he knows. He knows I was kidding. I love causing drama. It's really fun on here. Not like what was happening before the recording, which we're
Oh,
not going
God.
to get into unless you were recording beforehand.
I was not, unfortunately. We don't have pre-roll footage.
Yeah. But anyways, so you just thought it was kind of a cheesy slasher.
Yeah.
Like none of the kills kind of stood out to you.
Yeah, like, I mean, there was the one with the party popper.
Most attractive.
But that's really about it.
One of my favorite ones is the sleeping bag.
I guess so.
Actually, behind the scenes of it, if you know the movie, the behind the scenes, he actually did it multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Like just kept slamming her on the tree. But the MPAA said that was too violent.
I did take the time
So
to
they
watch a
just did
little bit of behind the scenes stuff.
It's kind of hard to watch. It's kind of hard to find behind the scenes for that movie because a lot of it was like disappeared.
Yeah, destroyed.
So, but they blew up an actual house.
Yeah.
Like that was a legit house they blew up, and they only had one take to do it.
What do you mean they couldn't just get another house?
So, anyway, Skinner, over to you. What'd you think? Obviously, I think we've talked about it that you really love that part of the Friday the 13th franchise because I think there's 12 movies out, so there's several of them that you have to go through because you got parts 1 through 8, and then or is it 11 movies? No, it's 12. Is it? Yeah, 12 movies because Freddy vs. Jason. Then you have Jason Goes to Hell. Then you have Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason, then the remake. Yeah, there's 12.
So basically, why I love Part 7 is, for one, being Kane Hodder's first film, and just the brutality that he brought to the Jason character. Like we said before, he wasn't slow moving and mutant and zombie like he has been in previous films. Even though his bodysuit suggested, hey, he's full of bones, he's everything's showing, his spine showing, but just the way he walks, the way his body movements were when he would look at his kills, and he would admire his victims like what Myers would do to his victims in the earlier films. I think bringing the telekinetic was a little bit different. Being a whole Carrie situation with it, I thought Lar did a great Tina. The girl next door, the quiet type, and then that was like easy pickings for Jason, but he didn't know what he was going up against until the climactic part of the movie was we all know what happened with that. And then just,
Didn't they consider Jason as the head turn, like Harder as the head turn Jason, because he was the only one that would actually like turn his whole head before his body?
yeah, and with and just like with the other guy, Dr. Cruz, the other
Yeah.
protagonist, the movie. Now everybody wanted him to die. We all wanted him to die, and the fact that Jason got him the best way possible with a what was it, a weed whacker. I think we would call it thing. I mean, it was perfect.
Fun
Yeah.
fact: that is the only motorized thing Jason has used to kill someone. You look at the franchise. Out of the entirety of the franchise, Jason has never used anything motorized whatsoever. Because people are like, well, he used that the thing in the remake, the grinder thing. He didn't kill anyone with it. He got killed by it in the remake, right? So he never killed anyone with anything motorized except for Cruz. And the behind the scenes on that was a lot cooler. See, because that was back when the MPAA was like the law, right? You could not get away with anything.
Hmm.
Nowadays, you can basically show someone getting sawed in half as or go Terrifier, right? Um, but back then you couldn't do that. But like you look at the behind the scenes and you see the thing go into Cruz and chops and like literally slow, and he goes in slowly. He doesn't just like shove it in there. He like goes slow into it until eventually he gets the
Hmm.
spine.
Made him suffer.
Yeah. And so that was probably one of the most iconic things. Um, I think also they were trying to suggest with like his big bulkiness and slowness, and he's super like soggy because he just got out of the water, right?
Bro's
And so,
waterlogged.
but that was probably, in my opinion, the scariest looking adaptation of Jason out of all of them.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's
Skinner's
terrifying
got
to look at.
toys.
Yeah,
Yay!
it's not toys, it's collectibles. Get it
Toys.
right.
Collectible toys.
This
I
one
guess
has left the box.
hasn't even opened the box, dude. Did you buy it like did you buy it like back in the day when you could, or did you buy it off of like eBay or Amazon or whatever?
I got this from a comic book store down the street that sells a lot of Funkos and stuff, and they actually had a part. They had a part 6 and a part 7. I have the part 6. He's in my case with all my masks because I'm eventually going to submerge him in water, so he's going to chill my fish tank. Um, and this one he's not coming out of the box. He's going to stay exactly where he is.
Yeah. It's funny. Nova, you're gonna hate me because you're gonna be the one editing this, but
Oh
there's
god.
actually a photo. You can find it on the internet. It would be pretty easy. Someone made a sculpture of Part 6 Jason, and they put it in a random lake. I think either in Michigan or in Oregon.
Michigan.
And Michigan, it's like a super murky lake that you can go scuba diving in. And they put like a statue, like a life-size statue of Part 6 Jason, and they just dropped it at the bottom of the lake for divers to find.
Oh.
And the scary, I think that what gets most people is you don't see it until it's like just how murky the water is.
He was a
It's
magnet. Like,
That's
oh,
the fun
let's go.
stuff.
yeah.
I love when people have fun like that.
And so so what do you think? Like, so kind of talk about Part 7. The kills were good. Obviously, they're not as gory as like because we have a little bit of standards nowadays when it comes to kills, right? Because nowadays they can get away with a lot more. I mean, the person who really pushed the envelope was Saw, that kind of helped push Saw and Hostel, kind of helped push the bringing back gore into movies, right? And
Hmm.
so, but Part 7, I think it's iconic to me is because one, it is Kane Hodder, because K- Kane Hodder is probably one of the best stunt performers that's that's been around. He also was just an amazing Jason actor. The burn scene, that
Hmm.
is Kane Hodder on fire, and he had the record for the longest fire stunt in the world at the time, and he actually has scars from it from that movie. He has burn scars like on his arms and on his legs
I thought it
from
was
the
from a
movie.
prior fire stunt accident.
It is.
Okay.
That's that fire stunt. He got it from that fire stunt. Because he didn't do a lot of fire stunts. I think he's done a few. Um, but not as intense as that one. Just because, um, they couldn't really put like they could because if they were to like put like a lot of stuff protective stuff on him, they would have had to made him a lot bigger
Yeah.
than he was, and it kind of would have been obvious, kind of like from Nightmare on Elm Street, the very first one, right? When Freddy's on fire, that stunt guy who did a phenomenal job ran up the stairs on fire, but obviously you could tell it's a stunt guy in it because he's a lot bigger, thicker face, things like that, because they were trying to protect him.
Mhm.
And Kane Hodder took it like a trooper, and they did it in one take. One take, done. Like I think the director said that he was actually terrified of Kane Hodder the first time he saw him as Jason. This is how intimidating he was because Kane Hodder is a method actor, and so he would like randomly just walk up behind people to scare the shit out of them. But he did bring in rageful side, the rageful side of Jason, which a lot of people didn't really get to see because a lot of the times it was like Jason was a childlike person, right? Because he drowns, lives that, and basically raised himself from 7 years old until adulthood, right? So he's a kid, right? Mentally, he's a kid because he didn't have any other education, and then also the mental disorders that he had and things like that. And so, and one of the coolest things that I did like about that movie is trying to well, a lot of people don't realize with horror movies, there's also lots of really good lessons in horror movies, right? Like for me, what I kind of got out of that is kind of accepting loss because of the girl, right? The Carrie stand-in, she killed her father in the beginning of the movie, and she just felt so bad about it that it's actually suppressed her powers for years because she would try to use them, and then she would just think of that, right? And so just kind of letting go. And then as soon as she let go of that fear and things like that, she was able to I think she is her and Tommy Jarvis are the only ones that have gone toe to toe with Jason and lived. Like actually fought Jason on his home turf and everything toe to toe and lived because like people are like, well, Freddy technically didn't die. Freddy died. 100%. Freddy died. Okay, he's just an undead person. But Freddie lost the fight. I will stand on that 100%. I don't care. I don't care all the hate comments I will get. Freddie lost the fight.
If Freddy could die, he would have died.
Yeah. And so not a lot of people have gone toe to toe to Jason, and one lived and two won the fight. I think there's only been like honestly like two canonically that have actually won physical fights against Jason, and that's Tommy Jarvis and the girl. Because Jason, like in the eighth one, which we really don't talk about, Jason takes Manhattan. He gets submerged in toxic sludge. Um, Jason goes to hell. He's a slug monster that gets stabbed, right? But no one like gets like there are characters that get into physical fights with Jason, um, and so but a lot of them when they get into a fight with Jason, they don't make it, and so and one of the coolest things is like with horror movies, they were kind of the forefront of having basically just female protagonists, also known as the final girl in that. And Friday the 13th is well known for having multiple final girls in their thing, which is a lot of people like in Hollywood nowadays kind of get a little political. I'm not trying to get political, but like Hollywood nowadays is trying to kind of push that thing. And it's like if you go look back in the 80s when it was like a lot worse, horror movies had it right. And horror movies also brought up a lot of things about mental illness and getting over things. Horror movies were the forefront, they were the foot foundation of what Hollywood is doing nowadays. And that's what this podcast is all about, is trying to get people into horror movies and look into that because a lot of people when they think of horror movies, they think of just a bunch of weirdos and that sit in the dark and watch like horror movies, but like a lot of people that are into horror movies are everyday Joes,
Mhm.
right? Like I've met several people that don't do the things like that us three do. You know, they don't do what we do, but they love that. They love the genre, right? So we're just a little bit different. We're a little bit, I don't know, as they say, obsessive.
What?
Definitely not
No.
me sitting. It's like Nova standing in Camp Crystal Lake, me wearing a hoodie as a clown face, wearing a Jason mask, and then Skinner in his
This isn't
character.
Camp Crystal Lake. This is just a
Is
lake.
that taken? Is that taken from the video game?
I think so.
But I've talked a lot, so you guys continue talking about part 7 because this is what the episode is about. Is part 7. You can go off in your little tangents that you want about horror movies and things like that, but try to keep it around Friday the 13th, part 7. Whoever wants to go can go.
You know?
I know you're pretty new to the whole part 7 genre, so I may not want to speak about it, other than it being a 80s cheesy, you know, flick the way it is. Uh, Personally, like I said, I think it's one of the, like I said, it's been one of the better Jasons. I think the story was there. There was no really dull moments. I mean, you had your jock, you had your the stoner guy, the one girl fell in love with, and then the other girl tried so hard to be like the other girl, so she'd be like. So that was one of the things that Smiley touched on was, not really the mental awareness, but just what somebody would do to be liked. We all went that route. Like we got picked on in school, like because we didn't wear the right clothes or the right shoes, or oh hey, you shopped at Kmart when you were a kid. You're not cool. You're a nerd. So the girl did what she could to make herself pretty. Unfortunately, met her demise by Jason, but she tried. So I gave her an A for effort on that. But then you got the ones the two that got killed at the very beginning of the movie that were on the way for the party. Well, I think it was at the I can't remember his name now.
Michael?
Yeah, Michael.
I
Yeah,
cannot remember his girlfriend's.
I remember that line where she said, "I've seen enough movies to know that any man in a mask you want to run away from. It's not friendly." So I mean, right off the bat, I mean that was a funny stab at all the rest of the other movies that have come before it. But
And
it's
I think
still
that was from part 6.
was that part 6?
Yeah, that was part 6 because the director made a joke because that was the director's wife. Because they're in the car and he stabs him with the fence post. That's from part 6, and the director made a joke. Just kind of throwing this in here, and I'll stop. The card that says American Excess, they couldn't use the actual word American Express. So if you look at it, you have to look at it closely. The card says American Excess, and it's a joke at his wife for spending too much money on stuff.
Okay.
So sorry, I will back out.
I got movies crossed. I mean, after a while, they all kind of mix together.
There's
So
12 movies. It makes sense. You get those wires crossed.
that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, all the kills were great. There wasn't really any major boring parts for me. I mean, it's typical teenagers partying, drinking, smoking. That's the normal stuff that comes to with those movies. Um, I can't really say much with the Freddy genres and stuff. They have their own way of doing things. Michael has his own methodical way of doing things. Jason just goes up to anybody that's just on his camp. He don't like nobody. It's like you trespass, you die. That's his thing. Stay away, you're good. If you have sex, you die.
Don't have sex, because you will get pregnant and die. Don't have sex in the missionary position. Don't have sex standing up. Just don't do it. Promise?
If you drink, you die. I mean, everything's you die.
Hear that,
So
kids?
if you
Sex kills.
Okay, everybody take some rubbers.
pretty much, yeah. So if you expect, if you want to take a life of abstinence and go to Camp Blood, you'll be okay.
Yeah. Stay abstinent.
Yeah, great message.
exactly what we need to learn from our horror.
Yes. Well, they just give like horror movies, like I said before. I'm going on my rant again. Horror movies give out life lessons a lot, a lot. I mean, Skinner, what is one of the biggest things that you've learned from horror movies in general? Like non-joking, don't go into the woods, blah blah blah, blah but like an actual life lesson.
Never judge a book by its cover. You don't know the story. You see a man in a mask. You think, oh shit, I gotta run. But why is he in a mask? Why is he coming after you? What is the method behind his madness? Freddy, he had his niche. He got burned because he did what he did was wrong. Jason, he was a child that just got just completely ignored, drowned, and he's just trying to live his life, and he just does what he does. I mean, as far as a life lesson goes, like I said, just don't judge a book by its cover because you don't know the story.
And Nova,
You're gonna scream when I tell you the life lesson that I've learned most from horror movies because it falls in line with my favorite franchise.
isn't
don't
your favorite franchise Saw?
don't take your life for granted.
I had to take off the gloves. I'm sorry. This is what my hands
Ah,
actually look like.
he's got skin.
The gloves were. It's like 80 something degrees inside my house right now.
He's got
I- I-
skin.
But yeah, I mean, part seven, I think it was a good breakaway from the rest of the film. So we got the first one was slow. It wasn't even him. Second one, burlap sack. Third one finally gets a mask, and then I mean, it all takes forever to go and to doing what they need to do for the punchline, the first kills.
Yeah.
Takes like an hour. At least the first 5 or 10 minutes of part seven, you watch her kill her dad.
Tina!
I hate you! I wish you were dead! John! I wish you were dead! Daddy, no!
Even though she didn't mean to, I mean, at least you've seen some type of death in the movie for the first 10 minutes.
Mhm.
And then then the story kind of happens. Oh well, this is why she did this, and yada yada yada, so on and so forth. Do I wish telekinetic powers were real? Absolutely, because I would be screwing with everybody I could. But I digress.
I think one of the things I liked about part 7, and Nova will get to you. Sorry.
All good.
Nova's just sitting there like, bro, I'm the co-host, and you guys are talking more than I am.
That's all. I'm cool with that. You guys know more about it than me. You guys are more interested in it than I was. So
Yeah. Anyway, so part 7 is also they don't hide behind like because part 6 kind of started doing the trend where they just don't do a bunch of POV shots when the kill happens. Like you see Jason actually performing the kill, and it doesn't take an hour into the movie before it happens, right? I mean, literally, I think because typically when it comes to a Friday the 13th, all their kills happen in one night, but this one it progressed over 2 days, and so because he killed the guy that was going for a surprise party, he killed him and his girlfriend there at the campsite, puts a stake through like the guy's back, and lifts him up with the stake, which just shows like how freakishly strong he is. And everyone's thinking, oh, it's because of like the voodoo curse and stuff like that. This is before they kind of canonized him being a Deadeye, because now it's canon that he is a Deadeye because he had the Necronomicon and Jason goes to hell. Um, anyways, before that, he got brought back because of a lightning strike. He wasn't brought back from like the dead from like some type of curse that he got like from demons or whatever. This is way before that. He just came back to life from a lightning strike, and he just had paranormal strength, speed, and I'm 100% on this boat. He has teleportation. Jason teleports. He does. I don't care what you think. There's no way A guy that he can move fast, but there's no way he can get from point A to point B, being right in front of you, that quickly without you seeing him.
True.
There's no way Jason teleports. I am telling you this 100%. I don't care what Matt Pat says about him teleporting. I don't care. Well, James H. Denise believes that believes teleport. But like other horror content creators, I don't care. I will fight you on this. I will die on this hill that Jason fucking teleports.
I'll play
And
Mega
that's
Watch
going
fight
on the
him.
swear counter. Oh, hi. Didn't know it was record. Oh, wait. This was for the ad. Duh. Hey guys, how's it going? Yes, so instead of adding the ad thing in the video itself, we're gonna go ahead and do it here and just kind of make it a repeat thing. Anyways, this video / podcast is sponsored by Dubby. Dubby is a gamer energy drink that's cheaper than most of the competition. They have tubs, sample pack, merch, all you can think of. They are way cheaper, like I said before, than your typical other people. I think it's $40 for a tub. And also, if you use promo code Nightmare Talkers with an S, you get 10% off your order. They are doing a collab with Solo Leveling, which is one of the biggest animes going on right now. And so I would recommend getting that. So yeah, anyways, again, so it's w.gg and use promo code Nightmare Talkers at checkout. Enjoy the rest of the episode. So Skinner, so for me personally, I have a swear counter on here. So for every swear word I say, it's $10 going into a pot, and then on December 31st of this year, I'm donating all of that money to St. Jude's Children's Research Facility, and I think I'm over $400 right now.
Yeah. You won't.
Keep up the swear word.
So it's just so to have accountability on top. But don't worry, next year we're gonna be both me and Nova.
What?
Because
You
next
can't
year
do
will
this
be
to me.
Yes. I own this channel.
Fucker.
That's $20.
That's $20. Each swear word has a different dollar amount.
Depending on the swear.
Yeah, one of the things I did notice about Skinner that's a lot different. Like other people see him, and stuff, he doesn't really swear. He doesn't, and
Fuck
I
not.
complete admiration for that because there's like no like. I think I don't know. For me, I'm just kind of speaking for you. You can say your piece. He just doesn't need to. There's no point in it. You know,
That's fair.
like we do it for comedic aspects of this. You know, we add that for comedic effect. But also, I'm working on my strength because I say it way too much, anyways, outside of this realm. I mean, you've gamed with me before, right? You've heard me just go off,
Oh yeah.
and so like, but it's just something I gotta work on. I don't know, Skinner. Why, why do you not wear, even though you and for people that are watching this, I'm not saying this in an offensive way, but because you look like that, people automatically assume that you just swear like a sailor.
And rightfully so. Under the mask, I do. I cuss like a sailor and then some. But being in this character, at my haunt, we are a family-friendly haunt, so I have to keep the words I say very PG. Um, and it's not easy because I have a lot of
Finally
those
sighing.
little that a lot of teenagers that have pushed the bounds that makes me want to say things I'm going to regret. It's been, I improv a lot. There's no script I go off of. I say whatever comes off this noggin. So I have to really put a filter on there because I'm like, ooh, you little, you know.
I think I accidentally one time swore in character at my haunt, but no one picked it up.
Forbidden.
It is. It's very forbidden. It is like the worst thing you could do. It's like you're gonna burn at the stake if you swear at a haunt. And it's hard for characters like me because I walk around. I'm in the public view the whole entire time from 6:30 in the evening when I get there. As soon as I get out of my car, I'm in costume, mask and all. Until I leave at like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm in the costume until I get back in my car. So that way nobody sees me. Unfortunately, my stupid self got too hot in my outfit last year because Virginia weather sucks around October. Because it's more bipolar than my ex-wife. It is horrible because it could be 95 degrees in the afternoon and right down to the 40s at night. So I have my Slipknot tattoo is exposed. So now people at the mall is like, oh, that's Skinner the Clown. No, it's not. That's my twin brother, bro. We all have,
My twin brother who has the same tattoo.
yeah, we all talk the same too because another, not a stipulation, but another, what's the word I'm looking for? Another quaff that people want to say, oh, you're a clown, so you must talk with a very high pitched voice and you must have a laugh. And no, I don't. What you see is what you get. I don't have time to talk like some weirdo or that's huffed a whole bunch of helium. And I have a laugh, but it sounds just like Freddy Krueger. I've done it for many, many, many years. It's my normal laugh outside the character. So I just brought it in, and it's sinister because when you walking through my haunt, and all you see is that just staring at you. It's creepy. I don't have to say nothing. And then when I do say something, people are like, "Oh, shit, he talks. This is weird. Why don't we don't know what you want to say? Say something clowny." No, I'm just gonna throw popcorn at you because you irritate me.
You had Nova hiding over there. I don't know if you saw
I
that.
got a little scared.
But
So
I bring a lot of comedic to my character as well. I mean, yes, I am a clown. I am a scary clown, but the blood, don't let it fool you. It's cherry juice. That's what the kids know it as. I got hungry. Sour cherries.
I ate a whole cherry pie in one go.
But yeah, that's why I don't cuss. But like I said, outside the mask, oh yeah, sailor all day long.
Yeah. But like in character, I think I accidentally did that. So like for me, my character was like a crazy dentist person. Because they already have like someone who's like established as like their character there. His name is Pete, a good friend of mine. I'm not gonna say his actual name, but like his name is Pete, and he's like the established character there. Um, they actually had two, but one of them just quit because he's moving down to another town further away, and so it's gonna take him just an hour and a half just to get to the haunt. And so he's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Um, and he was the chainsaw guy for the haunt, and he was a lot different because a lot of like he was really good at his job because he would just go up to people's cars and then just do it while they're inside their car. Like he would go up to their car and turn it on and just kind of like look like he's hitting the car with it. And then Pete, he changes like his outfit every day, but he's still the same person, right? So they already have established characters at that haunt because they've been around, I think, 10 years or so. They haven't been around that long, but they're the only haunt in this entire town. And the next nearest one is an hour away. So it kind of gives them a good clientele sort of niche thing. And so anyways, just going from that, and so I couldn't bring Smiley in to be an established character there because of the fact that they already had a couple established characters.
Yeah. But that's what my heart finds and softball too is our own iconic characters. So I've actually gotten chance lucky to become one. But I was I was faced with big shoes to fill because we already have, including me, 6 iconic clowns. Um, and we're not really known for all the clowns. We're known for the main two that chase you out with chainsaws. But they're not always guaranteed to come back. They have their own personal lives. They freelance. They volunteer for us. They've been doing it since 15, 20 years ago. But my haunt's been going for 38, 39 years. So and they've seen many, 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 many different characters come to that place. And with the times that are changing, with the teenagers just being as ruthless as they are, and some of the adults too. I mean, I've had death threats. I've almost gotten stabbed. I've got my mask ripped off my head. I've gotten groped in various places by numerous people. Um, and all because of book talk. Thank you for that. So it hurts to know that my character does this for people. It's funny, but then it's like I'm kind of chained up where I can't really do what I want because people are going to perceive it in a different way. Oh, he was hitting on me. No, it wasn't. I called you ugly. How's that hitting on? I'm throwing
Yeah,
pop. How is that a love affection thing? I mean, people just take it way out of context, and
yeah, people are interesting. I've been kicked several times, punched, touched in places that didn't want to be touched. Those people actually are now banned from the premises because it's a good thing. Like the really good thing at working at a small haunt is the fact that I got the owner, like the actual owner. I can text them, just text the owner, be like, "Hey, ban this person,"
yep, so
and they'll do it. And they'll do it. And that's the good thing about working at a small haunt because you work at these really big ones. The owners, first of all, trying to get a hold of the owners is like just good luck, right? Good luck trying to get a hold of the owners. And then you talk to management and they're just like, well, it's just part of the job. You're just gonna have to deal with it. And it's like I really don't feel comfortable with people touching me in those sorts of ways. But uh, and
I know
our
where.
our haunt too also is a no touch haunt.
Same.
And um, so when it comes to people grabbing us, like, have I been grabbed before because I scared someone so badly? Yeah, and that's like it's normal, like grab shoulders or whatever. That's like that's fine, right? Because they get scared and they just instinctively do that.
Yeah.
I got mule kicked in the balls one time because I scared someone. Like she was hiding behind other people. You've probably seen it where the person is like kind of like 90 degrees and they're walking through and I scared her, and they were like, "Hey, you're not supposed to do that." Yeah, exactly. I'm not supposed to do that. She hit me, and then I had to stay in character because that's the deal with when I quit working at one of these. You have to stay in character no matter what. And they're like, "Oh, I am so sorry," because they could tell I got mad. I really got mad because then I just upped the antes. I started making a bunch of noises and just things like I upped it, the scares in that area because they made me mad. And then the ladies that were there were like, "We're so sorry. She's never been through a haunted house before, and so she just got really scared, and that's how she reacted, and stuff like that." And then in character, I said, "Well, control your friend, right?" Because my character, I could say whatever, like, because I threw insults at people and things like that, and so um, I could say like, "Hey, control your friend. This is not a wild animal. This is not a zoo. We might be scary, but you need to control your friend." And like they talked like someone, I guess one of the other actors complained to management about it. And so they started talking to all of us and I'm like, look, it was her first time going through. I got kicked in an area I don't want to get kicked at and it hurt. It hurt a lot, but again, that's just what it comes with the territory. And so if you don't like you got hit, you need to get a new job because it happens because
Oh,
people have fight or flight instinct.
absolutely. I mean, if I can count on the places I've been hit, broke, touched, I'd be here all night. And
Yeah.
each year it gets worse, especially when I'm the first thing you see at my haunt. I'm like when you pull into the park lot, I'm like right there. Right when you're getting your tickets, I'm harassing you when you're getting your tickets. I'm harassing you when you're getting to the queue line. Even before you get to the midway, I'm harassing you. And
Yeah.
then if I have to go to the bathroom, I'm harassing them going to the bathroom. Like I pick my certain people that are afraid of me. As long as they're not kids, that's one of my biggest rules. I don't pick on anybody with special needs. I don't pick on kids, and I don't pick on the elderly. And if
So
you're a regular,
Nova, you're safe.
And a
Yeah.
teenager,
Wait, which group do I fall into? Am
You know.
I being bullied right now?
Yes.
Not again.
Anyway, Skinner, sorry. Continue.
it's been an adventure with my haunt, and we're getting ready to start up here very soon. We're already getting props in. Some big prop makers have already sent us stuff from Trans World, and I've seen some of these props, and they look really nice. They're gonna flow really well with our haunt. Each year, my haunt they change the theme. So this year, we don't know what we're up doing. We don't know what we're doing yet. They won't tell me till the last minute. We start planning for it in July, and then after that, we start September 26th, and then we run all the way through November 1st.
There you go. I think for us, we don't really know. Like we start, like they already have it all planned out, but then like the actors and stuff like that, they get hired on, like they get hired on in August, and then they do orientation at the beginning of September, and then they kind of ask for volunteer work because again, it's really small, so they can't just pay us every single time we're there, which I don't care. I'm doing this for fun, right? And so I'll go there and help set up the outside haunt because we have a split 50-50 indoor and outdoor. And the outdoor part, they use wood chips along the walkways like most places do. But over the year, right, it snows here, the wind blows, things like that. Those wood chips are disappearing. So, anyways, so that's what we do, and then we don't really have a theme ish sort of thing. We kind of just come up with like what we're doing that year. But anyways, but we need to get back to the movie because we can talk about doing haunts all night long. We can talk about it. Um, it is good filler. Because now we're going to Nova, who's probably going to talk very, very little about the movie.
Oh god.
I don't know what like are have we? I don't even think we hit the hour mark yet on the
Not
recording.
yet.
What minute mark are we at?
50.
50. There we go. Anyway, so Nova, Friday the 13th, Part 7.
I mean, as established, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I'll be honest. There was a lot of stuff that they had to cut out that probably could have saved it for me. As you can probably tell from a lot of the movies that I enjoy, I love my horror movies with a bit of gore, with a good bit of gore. I like being able to see the kills, you know.
Yeah.
And they cut all of that out. They had to, and it ruined some of the sparkle, you know.
The good old MPAA.
Damn them.
And I have to start worrying about them because I'm working on making my own horror movie. And so, but I'm trying to decide what I'm probably planning on doing is actually doing it from the perspective, like do a found footage, but from the perspective of the killer.
That'd be interesting.
And do it like more modernized where it's live stream, like on Kick or Twitch or whatever, or something to that aspect, where it's live stream. Because that's more that because that's like the modern flair when it comes to this stuff nowadays, right? It's
Mhm.
streaming, right? Because what we're doing is what's considered old school now, recording a video. That's old school now. People try to do stuff live.
We're old
And
school.
speaking of live, I talked to my people at the Haunt Nova. If I can get you to come down, come up to where I live, I'll fly you out. We're gonna do a live episode from the haunted house.
Oh, sick! That'd be awesome.
So we'll do a live episode of Nightmare Talkers from the haunted house, and we'll be asking people questions and things like that. So we'll have like the haunt. So I'll be doing that at kind of on here, and then kind of just advertising it because it's pretty close. We're getting around haunt season and stuff like that, and they don't do advertising, so we're gonna do it for them.
That'd be sick.
So to kind of get more people out. But the haunt, you can look it up. It's called 10th West Scare House. So we've been around for 10, 11 years. Last year we broke our record for guest amount, which we had over 1,000. I think we had 1,100 people show up in one night,
Good numbers.
which for a small haunt, that's huge, right? So we're doing it again this year, and so I talked to some of the people, and one of the days I'm kind of taking that day off from jumping on and scaring people. Not that I'm not going to do it while recording, but um, we'll record I don't even know if we'll record. We'll just live stream it on YouTube and stuff like that, and do a live episode of Nightmare Talkers right there at 10th West Scarehouse.
That'd be sick.
So if you want to be in it, go to that at that time. I'll when it gets closer, I'll specify the date. So yeah, so just come out to 10th West Scarehouse, come see yours truly, and then also Skinner, what haunt do you work for? And we'll put that in the description and stuff like that to kind of get people to go out to your place.
I might get in trouble for this, but I work for Haunted Hunt Club Farm. It's all one word. Located out here in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Why would you say you get in trouble for it? Are they not huge fans of people doing that?
Pretty much. I think things have happened in the past where people that worked for them badmouth them and stuff like that. So I get that all together. So, but they know that I would never do that because any chance I get, I'm promoting them. I'm promoting them during the day. I'm promoting the haunted stuff during the day because I work there during the day as well. We're a full-fledged farm year round. So we don't close after Halloween. We just flip the switch and we go right into the next season. I do daytime operation stuff there. I guess I'm around kids all day long, so they don't bother me one bit. When I get a chance to say, "Oh, are you locals?" and like, "Oh yeah, we come down every year, a couple times a year." Like, "Oh, you come down during October, so we have our haunted stuff." Because then this space gets really ugly, more so than it already is. I make little cheap plugs, and it's always fun. But like I said, we've been doing it. They've been doing it for almost 40 years now. I mean, they've been doing something right. So, and we're around a lot of haunts. We have Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, Hollow Scream. So we got them. With that competition, we have King's Dominion, Fright Fear Fest. We have a place called Frightmare, which is a touch haunt, small, but you get to sign a waiver when you're 18. They touch you, they lock you in cages and all kinds of weird crap. We have Nightmare Mansion at the oceanfront. That's a year-round haunt as well. Indoor, very intense. They actually live stream their stuff on Twitch. So yeah, and we had to do something special to be on top. So
There you go. I think we just hit what good old hour mark at this point, so we'll kind of
Just
wrap
about
things up. I know we're
56.
talking about Friday the 13th, part 7. So Friday the 13th, part 7. It's a good movie. I know we kind of just went on the haunts, but also that's what typically happens when we have a guest. We kind of just start talking about them more.
Oh yeah.
So we talk about the movie. It's not your fault. It's my fault. I brought up a lot of stuff about working at haunts and things like that. But so yeah, Friday the 13th, part 7. For me, because we haven't done this in a while, so we need to do it. So, Skinner, what we do is we rank things 1 out of 5 stabs. So for me, again, Kane Hodder's first appearance. Could they have done better? Yes. But it would go lower if it wasn't Kane Hodder, but I would give it probably a 2.5, maybe 3 stabs out of 5. So it's pretty up there. Obviously, there's things that came out later. I'm a Jason X guy myself, which people come at me in the comments for it. But I like that it has bad CGI kills, but like it has like some of the most iconic kills in the franchise.
prize in it, girl.
Yeah, exactly. And then just all kinds of stuff. Uber Jason, things like that. Like, Yeah. So Jason X is very like it's like a near. It's probably it's also the very first Friday the 13th, like first ever Jason movie I've ever watched. Is Jason X,
Wow. These are,
and
these are,
so
these are wrong with that.
so I had no idea who Jason was. This is back when I was. We don't encourage this on the podcast. Ready? When I was like 5. When I was 5 years old, I watched it for the first time. First ever movie I watched, I was 4, was the remake of 13th Ghost. Um, but anyways, way to just hop right into the horror genre, right? Um, anyways, so but yes, I saw Jason X for the first time on DVD. Which a lot of people don't know what that is nowadays. But on DVD back in the day, that was the first ever Jason movie I've ever watched. Back when I was a Freddy guy, like I was a like kid when I was a kid growing up, Freddy all the way. Nowadays, I'm Jason. I love Jason the character. I just love him, all that stuff. But yes, I give it a 2.5, 3 stabs. Watch it on Pluto. It's on Pluto right now. As we said in the beginning, we're not here to replace the we're not here to replace the film. Obviously, we hardly talked about the film. We talked some about some of the kills. We're not here to replace the experience of watching a film. We encourage you to watch it yourselves on whatever streaming platform or other home media. Um, we'll go Nova. What do you give it out of stabs? And then Skinner will give it. We'll kind of let you close it out, and
uh,
then you tell people something at the end, and then we'll all three say be spooky. Cool, cool. Nova, go.
personally, I think I'd give it 1.5, maybe 2.
Really?
Yeah, like it's not complete dog shit, but it could have used some extra touches. Don't look at me like that. Oh god, my headset died. Smiley, you killed me. Smiley,
I win.
no,
I win. I win.
no, oh damn you.
All right, Skinner.
Bro, do you have carry powers
What do you-
too?
Yes. Skinner, what do you give it out of 1 out of 5 stabs, and what do you want to say to the people watching this?
All right. I will have to go above you, Smiley, and give it 3.5 stabs. I believe that the storyline was there. I believe Kane Hodder, it was his first time being Jason. He rolled ass on it. There, I cursed. He rolled ass on it. I mean, I know, gasp. Call the local media. But I mean, he did amazing. He did absolutely amazing as Jason. Especially with the critics being how they were, and like Nova said, all the sparkle was taken out so early on before we got a chance to really see like the director's cut stuff and behind the scenes stuff. I really think it could have been better, but I mean, let's be honest. There hasn't really been many Jason films that's like 5 out of 5 stabs. Like you said, Uber, like Jason X, that was a hit and miss with me too. Especially when Uber Jason kind of came out of the works and the Android thing. I mean, yeah, fine. Um, if I had to pick a favorite Jason, it will always be Part 7. It was a toss up though between that and Part 8. Manhattan. That was a hard one for me. I have a soft spot for Manhattan too, but Kane Hodder, hands down, 3.5 stabs.
And what do you like to say to these lovely people? Any parting words?
Well, I would like to say this has been a lot of fun for me. This is actually my first podcast I've ever been a part of, and I hope that there are many, many more to come. I hope you guys stay tuned to Nightmare Talkers to get all your info on anything spooky and creepy and anything that goes bump in the night. I am Clown from Haunted Hunt Club Farm here in Virginia Beach. And I hope you have a very wonderful night. And if you look under your bed, maybe me.
All right, there you go. And all right, everyone, on 3, and as always, 3, 2, 1.
Be
Be
spooky.
spooky. Be spooky.
Be spooky. Be
There you
spooky.
go.
Good time.
One of those times I said it is synced.
we gotta work on our synchronization. We gotta work on our synchronization. If we're still recording, be spooky. Have a good night. How'd it feel to have his life leave his body? And I'm like, dude, you need therapy.